What's up, guys? Welcome back to Conquering Kerbal Space Program. I almost just said Kerbal instead of Conquering. Kind of weird there. I need to do a couple of things before I actually start to tell you what I'm doing, but I wanted to show you what I'm doing and then explain what I'm doing after I do it, because I'm running out of time and I'll explain why in a second. So we have the maneuver starting at 26 minutes and 5 seconds. So in, let's say, 26 minutes from now, yeah, let's just do 26 minutes and 10 seconds from now. I'm going to put the delay into the flight computer here. I'm going to tell you to point surface retrograde, okay? Then, right about now, I guess, after you've pointed that way. Yeah, after you've pointed that way, we'll decouple that. Okay, and then from that point, let's change this to be, let's say 30 minutes from now. I want to do, how about this mystery goo experiment? This is the materials bay experiment here, and this mystery goo experiment here. Let's do this one. Okay, those two. That's 30 minutes from now. Then in about 40 minutes from now, let's not do it quite that long. Let's do 32 minutes from now. I want to arm the parachute. And actually what I need to do here, I need to change that parachute really quick. Let's do 52 minutes from now. I want to do all other experiments, all science, including this thing. Okay, now let's go back to zero. Zero delay. Zero delay. Let's change the altitude of this parachute for opening. Change this to altitude, and we're going to change it to, let's say, 93 something. Okay, so I think I've got everything done. I need to double, triple check. I don't know. I don't know if I have the time, and I don't. Okay. So I just ran out of time. You can see that I no longer have a connection. So let's take a look, and I'll show you what I'm doing. We have an orbit that's angled around Kerbin like this with an unmanned probe. We're using RemoteTech, so we need a direct connection to the KSC there in order to control it. I don't have that connection anymore. It's just a little bit too, like the horizon, if you will, is in the way. So, and I'm not gonna get it back. So I won't have a connection for this entire video, basically. I won't have a connection. So what we're doing is I'm trying to land the craft in this spot. And I'm already considering, oh, yep, there's a problem with this. Let me adjust it really quick and then I'll explain what it is. Let me move it wrong way. Let's move it up this way. Let's move it like, let's move it like really far. Let's move it like how about there? I want to go way up. Let's go there. Okay. Hopefully that's good. I have no idea if that will work. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is the Orbit Kerbin contract, the initial contract that you have really early in the game where you have to orbit Kerbin. And I thought, this could be an interesting opportunity to test out RemoteTech's capabilities and more or less my capabilities with RemoteTech. And I wanted to do an experiment where I try to land the probe in a biome that I've never been to before, like I haven't done any science there before. I wanted to land the biome, or land the probe in the biome and get science for it without having a connection to that probe. Of course, to do that means I can't transmit the science. I'm just gonna have to recover the vessel, or do the recover vessel command, I guess, with all the science experiments already run on the probe. So in order to do that, there's a bunch of things I have to consider. The first thing is, where do I want to be? Which, in this case, I've chosen this mountain range. I want to be in these mountains. I don't know if that's a smart idea, because if I land on a really steep slope, this probe probably dies. Hopefully I land on a somewhat flat spot. We will see. But that's sort of the idea here, is we want to land there. However, you notice that the X is up here, and this is sort of a targeting where I'm going to land. And this is the trajectories mod. So the trajectories mod tells you is a mod that sort of helps you with your trajectory. It helps you figure out and predict where you're going to be. So our maneuver is here. It's 52.7 meters per second. And the flight computer is going to execute that maneuver on time at 21 minutes and 25 seconds from now. When it does, we move from being on this blue orbit to being on this yellow orbit. Okay? And this yellow orbit is slightly, I guess, inclined a little bit, or I guess it's inclined from where we are, has a different inclination. That's what I'm going with. And it's a slight retrograde burn, enough to get us to where we are going to enter the atmosphere and fall to the surface. Trajectories says we're going to enter the atmosphere here. With this burn, we're going to enter it here. So as we enter it, we're going to be in the atmosphere the whole time, all the way up, and then trajectory says we're going to land here. Now this is all based on everything being exactly as it is right now. This is not exact. It's an estimate. Lots of things can change this. The way I descend into the planet, the atmospheric pressure on my craft. There's a whole bunch of stuff that can influence this landing point, but it's a rough estimate. So I will land here. But by the time I get here, the planet has already rotated, so this point will actually be here on the planet. So that's where it's predicting I'm going to land. However, and as I'll walk you through so far what the craft is going to do, we're eventually going to decouple about half of our craft. We're going to leave half of our craft because there's a heat shield I want to get pointed into the atmosphere to absorb the heat. And when I do that, my craft is going to be lighter than it is now. It's going to have less mass too. So the atmosphere is going to have a bigger effect on us. And because it's going to have a bigger effect, I predict this is going to move this way. Okay? That's what I'm predicting anyway. I think this is going to move this direction. It's going to bring probably by quite a bit because we're going to lose about half our craft. So we're actually going to, instead of landing here, I'm hoping we land closer to about like where this little periapsis node is on this line. And by on the line, I mean this is going to rotate to be here anyway. So that's the goal. Land in these mountains, okay? So how are we going to do that? Well, you can see all the timer here. So when I'm talking about what the computer's going to do, you can see the running timers here and how long it will take to do it. We're going to hold the maneuver prograde. That means hold a direction, or face the direction at which you need to face to perform a maneuver in space. So we're going to be facing towards where we need to be facing to perform this maneuver on time. Then we'll perform the maneuver in about 18 and a half minutes. Roughly 20 seconds or so after we do this maneuver, or after we initiate this maneuver, we're going to hold surface retrograde. Now, what does surface retrograde mean? For those of you who don't play the game or are new or are just not quite familiar with orbital mechanics, I will butcher this, but I will try my best to explain exactly what this is. Think of surface retrograde, or surface prograde, or surface in general. Think of it like you're driving a car. You're going forward on the road. The direction that you are heading, the direction in which your vehicle is physically moving, that is prograde. Okay? That's your prograde vector. If you were to turn your vehicle around, right, but keep going the exact same way, right? You haven't changed what direction you're heading. You've simply turned your vehicle 180 degrees. You are now facing retrograde. You're facing the exact opposite of the direction that you're heading. Okay, so you're basically going backwards. That's what I want to do. I want to hold surface retrograde. And this surface part means relative to the surface of the planet that I'm orbiting and not relative to my orbit itself. So it'll be slightly different. Usually they're roughly the same, but they're slightly different. And the reason why I'm doing that is for re-entry. I want to face surface retrograde because as I move into the atmosphere, I want my heat shield to be at the front. I want the bottom of my craft to be forwards. So I need to face backwards. Makes sense? Cool. So that's what this will do. Now, I don't have the heat shield showing. I've got this engine in this tank. So I need to get rid of this stuff so that the heat shield can show. And that's the part where our mass will change. And trajectories will probably move our landing closer. I don't know if it's on target. This is I'm just going to show you, this is my attempt. I'm practicing. So I'll probably have a lot more practice later, but I thought I'm going to try something cool and I'll just record it while I try. Whether it succeeds or fails, I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. Because I've already succeeded in the contract is just orbit Kerbin. I've done that. So think of it like SpaceX, right? Their mission is to deliver a payload to the International Space Station, or their mission is to deliver the satellite to geosynchronous orbit, or at least get it to where it's at the right altitude and let the satellite circularize itself. SpaceX has a side mission where it wants to land on a barge, right? Which is pretty cool. I'm not going to land on a barge, but my side quest is, can I land at a specific part that I want to land at? So that's the part I'm trying now. And I'm doing it all unmanned. Again, I can't control it. There's no connection, and I won't get it back. So all of this is happening. Well, I have no control. So whatever is going to happen now. I can't influence it in any way. So I need to get rid of half my craft. So then it will decouple this. It'll just kick this out, and that's it. There is a little bit of force applied on the vehicle, conservation of energy. So the force that I apply that direction, there's going to be an equal and opposite force applied that direction on my craft. So it's going to slow me down a little bit more. I don't know how much, because I don't know the force. I mean, it's 100% force on this decoupler, but I don't know exactly how much slower that makes me. We will see. So after that, it's going to perform in about 4.5 minutes or so after it decouples, and it's already entered the atmosphere at this point. It will perform a materials bay for some science, and mystery goo for some science, because I have yet to get these experiments done in the upper atmosphere. So I want them done. So they're going to do it in the upper atmosphere when it's in there. Then, about 2.5 minutes, looks like actually exactly 2 minutes, 2 minutes after these experiments are done, and we're well into the atmosphere at this point, it will arm the parachutes. Now, the parachutes are from RealShoot, or I have RealShoot installed. This is just the regular MK16 parachute, but because I have RealShoots installed, I have more control over my parachutes. I have more realistic control over my parachutes. This is the part where adding more realism actually makes it a little easier and gives you more control, which is great. So I have the option to arm the parachute rather than deploy it. So that's what I'm going to do. And I have told the parachute that I want you to open 9,300 meters, or ish, somewhere around there. 9,300 meters above the surface. So when the flight computer sees that the altitude is 9,300 meters to the surface, it will deploy the parachute. Okay? That's what that means. I'm going to arm it. But I'm going to arm it well before I get there. So it's going to be armed, probably 40,000 meters above the ground. I don't know how high I'll be, but it'll be armed well before that. But it won't deploy until it's that altitude. And the reason I chose that altitude is because I think it's reasonable to assume that I will be going slow enough at that point where it's safe to open the parachute. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I can't tell the parachute to open when I'm traveling a certain speed. It doesn't work that way. So I have to either choose atmospheric pressure or I have to choose altitude. And given that I'm re-entering the planet, I'm not sure I'm going to be going fast enough when the atmospheric pressure is a certain threshold. So, just to be safe, and because it's easier, I've chosen 9,300 meters as the altitude. Okay, so that's the parachute. Now, once it's deployed, it will drop us to the ground. And about 20 minutes after the parachute is armed is when all these experiments are going to go off, right? Every experiment I have on this is just going to go, right? It's going to deploy and it's going to test. And the hope is that when all these tests go, when all these experiments just go bam, 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 and they all run, that I'm landed on the surface. And on top of that, I'm hoping landed safely and landed in these mountains. So that's the goal, right? Let's see if it works. And the reason I say it's practice is because when we do get to the point where we are going to other planets, like Duna, which is the first one I'm going to be going to, or Eve, which I'm not sure when I'll go to Eve, but Duna and Eve are the closest other planets to Kerbin. One is further away from the sun and one is closer. It's basically the Mars and Venus, I guess, proxies or equivalents, or however you want to say it. I don't know the word I'm looking for, but basically they're like those two. And Duna has an atmosphere that is much thinner than Kerbin's. It's there, but it's thin. So parachutes don't work quite as well on Duna. And the atmosphere doesn't slow you down as much as it does on Kerbin. And Eve is the opposite. Eve has a thicker atmosphere than Kerbin. So the atmosphere will slow you down much faster, and it will have much greater heat. So you have to kind of figure out how you're going to re-enter Eve. I don't even know how to do that. I've never been to Eve. But parachutes are also much more effective on Eve. They'll slow you down much more. So Kerbin is kind of like the middle of these two things, right? It's like if Duna is half of Kerbin and Eve is like 1.5 Kerbins, then figuring out how to do it on Kerbin is a good way of figuring out how to do it, how I might do it on other planets. I have the nice little happy medium, and I can sort of adjust, either way depending on what I'm going. So if I can land where I want to here and run science how I want to here, I should technically be able to do this on other planets if I just adjust myself accordingly. So that's why I'm saying I'm practicing, because I want to do this and I want to see if I can do it. So, okay, our vessel has initiated its sequence. So we are currently pointed at the maneuver, and we will be burning that maneuver in about 30 seconds. I'm using time acceleration, so it's not actually 30 seconds. And all right, slow down. 10 seconds from now, we are now real time. So the flight computer is now taking complete control of this. It's going to do everything. I can't stop it, and I cannot influence it in any way. There's our burn. Okay. Burn is done. Current trajectory puts us to land there, which is actually really high. I think that's higher than I wanted to be. We'll see what happens on the decouple. So we're going to face surface retrograde now. There's the decouple. There's a little bit of force applied to us that slows us down a little bit, which actually is heading the wrong direction. Slowing us down is not a good thing. Whoa, okay, so that actually worked out okay. Yeah, all right, that actually works out okay. We're not in this mountain range, and we're actually not in this one. Maybe trajectories is wrong, I don't know. But now that we have half of our vessel, now that we're only half the mass and half the weight, or probably less than half the weight, the atmospheric effects on us is going to slow us down faster. And so trajectories says, actually, you're not going to land way up here. Because of the atmosphere slowing you down, you're actually going to land over here. And it's adjusting itself too. It just keeps adjusting itself. So as the atmosphere slows us down, I'm hoping this will bring us even more this direction, and maybe we can get into the mountains. This is really close. I would like to be a little more south, but I mean, there's nothing I can do about it, so whatever. Okay, so looks like we're actually not falling. Well, we weren't anyway. If you looked at the video, go back like 3 seconds or whatever and take a look at this. I was actually rising. Yeah, I'm going up again. What is this? What is this madness? I don't know what this is doing. I don't know. I don't understand it. I'm supposed to be exiting the atmosphere here, so I guess we'll just zoom ahead to that point. Okay. And hopefully we get into the atmosphere now. There we go. The little camera shake. The game is shifting modes, shifting its physics to accommodate it for the atmosphere. And this is not exactly... Whoa! Our experiments just ran. That was in the nick of time, guys. Holy crap. Oh, man. I timed that, like, run the experiment as soon as you're in the atmosphere. I figured we would be, well, like well into the atmosphere before those things ran. I'm glad those ran. Whew. We can see X Science is another mod, which I've been using to make sure that I get all the science I can from the biome I'm currently in. So right now we got it flying high over Kerbin. These are stored locally. We're not transmitting them because we can't. I probably would transmit them if I could, because more than likely this craft is going to crash and burn and die. So it'd be nice to recover the science. But Mystery Goo observation while flying high over Kerbin, and material study while flying over Kerbin. These are blue because I have them on board, but I have not secured them, if you will. So once I recover the vessel, these will go green, and I'll have them sort of check marked. But yeah, I've got a long way to go. I've only done 89 experiments on Kerbin. There's 7991 available on the planet completely. So lots more science to do on Kerbin. But we're not going to do all of them, most likely. I don't know. Maybe throughout the course of the whole playthrough, maybe, but I don't know. So in 46 seconds, the parachute will arm. And then all that's left is to ascend, or all that's left is to descend down to the surface, hopefully in 20 and a half minutes, because that's when our experiments are going to fire off. So hopefully that's the case. So our parachutes are now armed. There we go. And they will, about 9,300 meters-ish, around there, it's going to deploy. So now I just have to hope that I get down to the surface in time for these experiments. I'm not entirely sure I chose enough time. 19 minutes doesn't seem like it's that short of a time period, but if you notice our rate of deceleration and you notice our rate of descent, I guess, the camera has decided to flip us around. That's cool. We're not descending very fast. I think it'll be okay. I think 58 kilometers now, 17 and a half minutes. I'd like to be landed well before these fire, but I don't even know if I'll be able to survive the landing. The heat shield is round, so if we land on a hill, we're probably going to roll around to our death. So hopefully we land on something somewhat flat, which is not a good thing to say when you're trying to land in the mountains. But maybe we'll get lucky. I don't know. Guess we'll see. I'm going to do some time acceleration here, at least until the flames start showing. Till things get hot, and then I'll slow it down a little bit more. And when you're in the atmosphere, the fastest you can time accelerate is 4 times. So I can't accelerate very fast. So here we go. We're going over top of that little mountain range. We can see our prograde vector, if you will, here. This is the direction at which we are currently traveling. And this is going to drop eventually down to the surface, where we will hopefully get an idea of where we're going to be landing. Again, hopefully safely. I think I got plenty of time here. 15 and a half minutes now. Yeah, it's not going to take me 15 minutes to slow down from here. So I don't know what I was so worried about. Plenty of time, as long as we land on flat ground. And if we don't land on flat ground, then it's going to crash and burn. But it is what it is. We'll prepare for the next time. We'll prepare for the future, where I tell it to, I don't know, decouple the heat shield maybe? Jettison the heat shield? I'd love to just tell it to jettison the heat shield after we don't need it anymore, because this battery is very flat, where the heat shield is rounded, so we have a better chance of staying upright if the battery was what's on the bottom, but no chance to change it now. So 14 and a half minutes till the experiments run, 35 kilometers above the surface. Our prograde vector is dropping down towards the horizon, and we're getting an idea of where we're going to land. All right, so right about this time is where I would love to just jettison this heat shield, because we don't need it anymore. But I can't, sadly. Won't let me. So we are at the mercy of wherever we land. Maybe this nice little flat spot here would be nice. These hills are a little scary. Please don't land on an incline. Can you land on something? Land someplace flat. Let's see. X Science says we are over the highlands, so we're not getting in the mountains. We just missed it, guys. Right there's the mountains. I wanted to be a little bit more to the south, but there's the mountains there too. But we're in the highlands, which I haven't been to the highlands yet, so at least there's that. Okay, dropping down 12,000 meters above the surface. And we're getting a good picture of where we're going to land. And it looks like it's a little hilly. I'm a little worried about this. Parachute opens, 9,300 meters, right on cue. Perfect, so that works. And we might get lucky. There's a little bit of a flat area right down in here. We might get lucky. Hopefully it's not too steep. Parachutes are slowing us down. And this should eventually get to right about where this is. This is our little, I guess, on-ground compass that tells us what direction it is. So that's north, obviously west, east, and south. We wanted to go a little more south to get to the mountains. And I guess a little further east too, but it looks like we're gonna land in something fairly flat, which is so lucky. Of all these hills, like all over the, like if I landed on this slope here, we'd be dead. But I think, and look at all these slopes, oh man, we would totally be toast. But I think we're gonna get lucky, guys. We're gonna land right here on this flat ground. Parachute opens, slowing our descent to just 6.2 meters per second. Well done, parachute. Well done, me. With figuring out how to do all this is just a whim. Like, oh god, I had to hurry. Okay, we're dropping down 6.2 meters per second. 50 meters to go. 40. 30. 20. Don't roll around. Don't roll around. Don't roll. Don't roll. Oh no. No, 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 no. Stop, 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 stop. Don't roll. Yes! It didn't roll. The problem now, though, is can we actually do all the experiments? This is the data. Okay, this is the arm. This is the materials bay. And this is the goo. I think we can do them all. I think it'll be all right. So we have X Science here telling us that we have done no science at all in the highlands before. Uh-oh, we're moving. Don't move. Why are you sliding? No, 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 no. Don't slide. Don't slide down the hill. Please don't. Let's do some time acceleration. Okay, good. So time acceleration actually stops movement sometimes, and I was kind of hoping on that. So I'm going to accelerate time. Since we're landed on the surface, we can actually go more than 4 times speed, but I don't want to go too far. So I'm going to go like this. You can see the sun is kind of moving over us, getting some shade. And stop. Okay. So in 25 seconds, we will hopefully have some science done. This thing is still moving. It's got me nervous. The sun is setting. Come on, run the science so I can collect the vessel. You got me really worried here. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Come on. And all the experiments will fire. There we go. Fire that out, fire that out. Arm goes out. Oh yeah. Collect, save, 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 save. All right, we didn't do the material study. Can we not do it because the arm is obstructed? Oh, it's obstructed. See, now I kind of want it to, well, it doesn't matter. It can't deploy. Oh, it can't deploy. Well, one experiment can't deploy, but everything else was on there, and everything else was a pretty good success. I think that was a pretty good success. So now let's recover the vessel before actually decides to move too much and gets destroyed. Okay, very nice. We've got 201 science. Total 58.4 science earned here. Whole bunch of funds. Look at that. Bam, we got lots of funds now. I just want to give you an update. I don't have Fog of Tech installed anymore. I think that was one of several mods that was causing a problem, so just as a safety precaution, I don't have it installed yet, and I probably won't. We'll just have the tech tree, man. Whatever. I have almost the same tech researched as I did before when we left off, I think. Simple command modules, I think, was researched. So I should probably grab that because it was researched before. And I want to say that we had advanced construction, I think. Maybe not. It could have been heavy rocketry, actually. Well, I don't know what it was, but you know, at this point, I think it's safe to say that I'm pretty much right at the same spot we were before. So in the next video, we're gonna really start to ramp up. We're gonna get started on our satellite network. Fun. We need that really bad, so I don't have to do all these little things like that anymore. I would have been able to control that vessel if I had a satellite network. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm gonna upgrade some buildings and stuff here too with all this wonderful cash. Take care, bye.